If you're an agency owner or a freelancer who knows that automation is the future, but N8N still feels rather overwhelming, that's exactly why we built Unlock N8N. It's a structured, self-paced, beginner-friendly course that takes you from what's even N8N in the first place, all the way to enabling you to confidently understand and build scalable automations completely from scratch, literally in just under 10 hours of your time. And yep, without any fluff, without any technical nerdy explanations that make absolutely no sense. And the best part is that you will no longer have to sellotape your knowledge of N8N through scrappy, fragmented tutorials on YouTube after completing this course. If we haven't met yet, my name is Tim. You may know me as the founder of Unlock Clay, one of the most in-depth Clay courses on the market, which now has over 1,000 students and over 500 testimonials on our website. Inside of my own agency, B2B Boosted, we hired 3 in-house AI automations engineers in the last 1 year alone. At one stage, we were even spending over $1,000 a month on Make.com. And because their pricing is tied to the number of operations, every new automation increased our monthly billing. At the time, our systems were scattered all over Make.com and Zapier. So before touching any other new tool, we started completely from scratch and rebuilt all of our agency operations completely from the ground up. We documented our processes properly, that you can likely see on the screen right now, mapped every single business process from client acquisition to the client onboarding, all the way through to the client service delivery. And guess what? After that, we rebuilt every single one of those systems in under a month, all inside of N8N. The results? Over 50% reduction in automation costs compared to the previous platforms that we're using. And of course, huge credit for this goes to the folks that I hired from some huge agencies in the past, like Belkins and SoPro, that taught me so much about being able to automate business processes. And this is exactly what this course is built around. Now, let's be real. You're probably using ChatGPT daily already, experimenting with AI tools like Clay.com, hearing about Claude Code, AI agents, Cursor, new frameworks like MCP pop up every other week. And I guess you probably feel like you're always a step behind of all of these new AI and automation trends. But here is what I've noticed. Without really understanding the principles and the thinking behind automations, every new tool just creates more noise. And yes, you can watch all of these videos on building agentic workflows, generating code and building apps using AI, and you can even copy random LinkedIn gurus' workflows that allegedly replaced a 20-employee sales team. But if you don't understand process mapping and how to scope, automate, and then productize automations in the first place, you're going to be building your knowledge on super shaky foundations. And if I were you, I would look at the Unlock N8N course as your gateway into the world of AI and automations. Because our goal with Unlock N8N is to level the playing field and simplify N8N for total beginners, without giving you bullish claims of workflows generating millions in income, all because of one random prompt that you can copy and paste. Because that's just not going to happen. So here is our promise. In under 10 hours, you will transition from a total confused beginner who's never used N8N before to a confident N8N power user. You will understand the thinking behind building automations. You'll be able to build workflows completely from scratch. And don't worry, because in a second, I'll be mentioning the module by module course outline, so stay tuned. Now let's address the most obvious questions that you likely have right now. Why not just use Zapier? And don't get me wrong, Zapier is excellent and it's super intuitive to use until you try and scale. And then you hit task limits, the pricing jumps up, and little things start to annoy you, like the inability of you to have 2 different flows with 2 different triggers within the same Zap. So for me, Zapier is like microwave pasta. It gives you the calories, it does more or less what it's supposed to do, but you are not exactly going to build a restaurant or business just based on that. All right, why not stick to Make.com, I hear you ask. And as I mentioned earlier already, Make charges you per execution, and before you know it, you are going to be paying at least $1,000 a month if you have a lot of automations running in the background. To simplify, N8N gives you way more control, way more flexibility, and most importantly, it's a lot more cost effective. With Zapier or Make, you're paying per task, per operation, per execution. As you scale, your cost of subscriptions scales with it. You can cloud host N8N for under $30 per month and build systems that will otherwise require enterprise level Make.com or Zapier pricing plans. That's a completely different cost model. Yes, I understand that N8N may look more technical at first. That's why most people stop at the surface. And the idea of this course is to remove that barrier. Now, here is the structure for the course. We start off in module 1 with a module on automation thinking. Before tools, before fancy workflows, you will learn the thinking behind building automations, where N8N fits into your existing tech stack, common beginner mistakes to avoid, and more than that, the first module will introduce you to various resources, such as just one simple AI agent that will help you get unstuck inside of N8N, especially in your early days when you may get an occasional error in a workflow and you may want some instant help to resolve that. Then inside of module 2, we get you inside of N8N super quickly. Here we will talk about the account setup. We will walk you through the UI so it's inexcusable for you not to know every single button by the end of the second module, including credentials, nodes, executions, and pretty much every single tab and every single button inside of N8N. And my favorite part is that by the end of the second module, aside from all of the great theory, you will also get to hang out with me and build your first ever AI agent in under 30 minutes or so. And yes, I'll be explaining everything button by button, node by node, so it's super simple for you to build the exact same workflow whilst watching the tutorial build out. From there on, we move into module number 3, where we cover N8N use cases and functionalities that you can use for client acquisition. Things like scraping fundamentals, how to use N8N for all sorts of fancy web scraping, data enrichment basics that may replace platforms like Clay.com at times, how to find emails, how to verify them, how to qualify leads, and how to personalize email outreach all from within N8N. And we will even be building out an automated Upwork AI agent that enables us to generate personalized proposals for every new Upwork job list that matches our skill set. And all of that will be covered before we jump into module 4, where we will cover how to automate the client onboarding process. As you can guess, the 4th module will teach you everything that you need to know in order to have a smooth, automated handover from your sales team over to your customer success team, including the contract signature, the payment being completed, and the client onboarding form being filled in, alongside all the other little systems that you would need to have in place so that the client onboarding process is as smooth and as automated as possible. Of course, in module number 5, we then will start talking about how you can automate the client service delivery, showing you how to set up client dashboards, how to set up task status tracking, how to automate internal progress updates and notifications, and of course, how to use other fancy tools like Airtable whilst you're at it. Now, module number 6 will combine our love for N8N with our favorite complementary other tools, be it showing you how to connect N8N to platforms like Clay.com, SmartLead, HeyReach, picking out some of my personal favorite workflows in order to stay on top of reply notifications, building AI agents that can reply to positive replies on all sorts of platforms, and a bunch more that I don't want to overshare for the time being. Module 7 will then consist of all sorts of fancy time-saving automation build-outs, where we will teach you button by button how to build out things like a calendar assistant, fully automated content generation workflows so that you have no excuse to not post on social media, and some other fancy automations that enable you to do other cool things like curating a list of your favorite newsletters into a database so that you don't need to anxiously refresh your spam and promotion folders in order to find and stay on top of all of the newsletters in your space. As you can probably tell, the idea behind module 7 is to get your hands dirty, build so many workflows that being bad at N8N by the end of that becomes statistically improbable. And of course, we also have module number 8, where we will be talking about reliability and safety. And that will be your go-to module whenever you get stuck inside of N8N and you're looking for a solution to things like rate limits, fallbacks, execution costs, and anything else that may become a bump in the road throughout your N8N learning journey. Now, module number 9 will consist of all of our favorite templates, and spoiler alerts, as I'm recording this, we're also about to add a free module on Claude Code and Cursor, so that you can not only learn N8N throughout this course, but you can also stay on top of some of the other biggest trends that are shaping this AI space and automation space right now. And as we wrap up the course, module 10 will be all about productizing your knowledge of N8N and showing you how you can templatize and productize your knowledge so that you can likely then either provide N8N as a service or be better at implementing it for your own business. So here is essentially what you get in return for signing up for the Unlock N8N course. You get 10 structured modules on N8N. You have 1 structured module on Cursor. You have 1 structured module on Claude Code. Upon the completion of the Unlock N8N course, you also get some impressive certification that you can then go on to flex on your LinkedIn profile. And that's not to mention some other perks like a dedicated community support channel where you can fire across any random questions that you have as you go through the course. And of course, you get lifetime access to research and development on this course. And as you probably know from my previous courses, I love to update courses and I love to keep them up to date. And that's my promise to you. I will be updating the course regularly to make sure that it's completely up to date. And the best part, you get a 30-day money back guarantee. Let me repeat that. 30-day money back guarantee. If for whatever reason you dislike the course, if it doesn't contain what you're looking for and you don't benefit from completing Unlock N8N, within the first 30 days of you purchasing the course, all you need to do is drop me a message or an email and I will refund you just in return for your feedback. Now, let me get this straight. This course is not for absolutely everyone. This course is specifically for beginners who are not yet aware of how to use N8N. It requires 5 to 10 hours of intentional focus. Not just passive watching, but once you complete it, N8N will stop feeling overwhelming. If you are serious about learning N8N, Cursor, or Claude Code, or simply you don't want to fall behind in this automation age that everyone seems to be reminding you about, Unlock N8N gives you that foundation. So click down below, secure your seat, and I'll see you on the inside.